Hello student, welcome to chapter 2nd of history, that is historiography in Indian tradition. So far we have seen the historiography in the ancient and medieval period. Now we are going to start the historiography in the modern period. My dear student, in the 20th century, many places in India excavation was started and archaeological survey, archaeological exploration was started in India. This was done under the supervision of Sir Alexander Cunningham. A number of ancient sites were excavated under his supervision. He was the first Director General of Archaeological Survey of India. He chose mainly the site which were mentioned in the Buddhist text for this purpose. That means mainly this excavation was done in Bihar. Later on, my dear student, Harappan civilization was discovered. So I told you that when the railway work was going on and they found the ancient bricks and therefore the railway work was stopped and the whole of Harappan civilization was discovered over there. So this was discovered during the tenure of Sir John Marshall. Because of this discovery, that is the discovery of Harappan civilization, the antiquity means the ruins, the ancient remains, whatever articles they found, those antiquities of Indian history could be recorded to third millennium before Common Era. So it goes back to the third millennium or even earlier than that. Many British officials in India wrote Indian history. It was influenced by the colonial policies of the British. So, what was colonial policies? That when they came here to India, in their mind only one thing was there: to do business, to grab lot of wealth from India and to take it to London. This was their main perspective, and therefore, from this point of view, they wrote the Indian history. So, Indian history, they always try to blame it or try to consider as it's the low status of India, and they always were considering that they were superior of it. Hmm? So, my dear student, this was done during the Britishers period. The book written by James Mill in 1817, titled The History of British India. This was written in 3 volumes. The first book on Indian history by British historian. So, the history of British India by James Mill, this was the first book which was written about Indian history by James Mill. It was written from biased attitude. So, it was written from their perspective, from British's perspective. So, it was biased. It was written by biased attitude. They were biased about various aspects of Indian culture. So, it was written from their point of view. The history of India by Mount Stuart Elphinstone, the governor of Bombay, was published in 1841. So, the name of the book is The History of India. It was published in 1841. He was the governor of Mumbai. The period of Maratha Empire is very important in the Indian history. 3 volumes of A History of Maratha was written by Grand Duff, and when he wrote this book, he condemned the Indian culture and history. So, all this Britishers' writing was condemning the culture and history of India, and they were from the bias attitude. Similarly, the similar tendency is written in Colonel Todd's writing about Rajasthan's history. So these all the writings were with the bias attitude. The two volumes written by William Vincent Hunter on the Indian history shows somewhat impartial treatment of the subject. So it is somewhat impartial. Therefore, Nilkant Janardhan Kirtane and Vishwanath Kashinath Rajwade, these were the two Indian historians who took upon the task of exposing the limitations of Grantup's writing. So whatever Grantup had not mentioned in his writing about the Indian culture, about the Indian history, here these were the two persons, that is Nilkant Janardhan Kirtane and Rajwade. They took upon this task and started rewriting the correct history, Indian history. Colonial historiography. Earlier, the British officers and the Christian missionaries who came to the eastern part of the world, they started studying the history of this region. And therefore, they were prejudiced about this culture, these traditions. So the prejudice is clearly reflected in their writings. They have ridiculed Indian culture in their writing. Their writing justified the colonial rule. So they were all for the colonial rule. Whatever colonial rules and regulations were there, they justified that. The 5 volumes of Cambridge History of India, published during 1922 to 1937 Common Era, are distinct example of colonial historiography. So this history was biased about the eastern region. They ridicule the Indian culture. Now we go on to next topic, that is Orientalist historiography. As I told you that British officers and the missionaries were the scholars among the writers who used to write the history. So some of the European scholars, they admire and respected the culture towards the east. They admire the excavation work, the civilization, and the countries too, and therefore they liked this culture. Therefore, they had a love for this culture. These people are known as Orientalists. So the European people who had love and respect for the Eastern culture, for the Indian culture more specifically, those are considered as the Orientalist historiographer. And what did they study? They studied the Indian languages. Especially, they studied the Sanskrit language. They studied the Vedas, and they were trying to find connection with the European language, Sanskrit with the European languages. And they wanted to find out the mother language of all the Indo-European languages. This study was involved with Orientalist historiography. The nationalist historiography. The writings of the nationalist scholar who were trained by the British educational system wrote about Indian history, and they tried to restore the Indian culture, bring back the glory of Indian history through their writing. One such name was Vishnu Shastri Chiplunkar. He was of Maharashtra. He tried to seek the golden era of Indian history. There were quite a many scholars. Among them, few notable scholars were Mahadev Govinda Ranade, Ram Krishna Gopal Bhandarkar, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, Kashi Prasad Jaiswal, Anand Sadashiv Altekar. These are some renowned scholars among the nationalist historiography. V.K. Rajwade is well known for his Marathi writing. He wrote on varied subjects like history, linguistic, etymology, and grammar. History, you all know, the linguistic means the literature. Etymology means to go to the root of that particular name. For example, I would like to give you Raigad. Why this Raigad name is given? Or Pavangad. Why the Pavangad is name is given? For example, let us take the name of Pavangad. Why the Pavan means the holy. But then when you go on the Gad, there is no temple over there. And why should it be called holy? Then Pavan means the wind. The wind blows very fast over there. But this also is not proved properly. Then Pavangad means Pahun Bandlela Gad. That means the other Gad was seen and then this was built. And the author says that this definition is correct. This is an example of etymology. So V.K. Rajwade wrote on history, linguistic, etymology, and grammar. So he was a renowned scholar. He opined that we should write our own history, not the others should write for us. He wrote Marathanच्या इतिहासाची साधने in 22 volumes. V.K. Rajwade stated that history is the all-inclusive image of the past societies. It does not include only the stories of political images, conspiracy, and war for seizing power. He insisted that history should be written only using the authentic documentary sources. The nationalist historiography helped in the triggering of the independence movement of the Indian people against the British. In this aspect, the book, The Indian War of Independence 1857, written by Vinayak Damodar Savarkar, is of great importance. So, Britishers said that it was the revolt of 1857. On the other hand, Indian point of view, it was the Indian War of Independence 1857. This is the difference between Orientalist or the Britishers and the Indian writers or historians. My dear students, now we are going to study in the part 3rd, the historiography in the post-independent era. Till then, all the best.